Welcome back to our greenhouse tomato growing series. If you've been following along, you've already learned how to grow, care for, and harvest your own delicious tomatoes. In part 4, we're wrapping up with a quick recap of the tomato growing process and then moving on to the best part, delicious recipes you can make with fresh tomatoes. The detailed recipe I leave below the comment section. If you want to refer to it, please visit. And if you have a favorite recipe, please share. Before we start cooking, let's do a quick recap of what we've learned so far in this series. Part 1. Sowing and growing strong tomato seedlings. Choosing the right seeds, soil preparation, and proper watering techniques. Part 2. Caring for tomato plants and preventing pests. Naturally, best fertilizers, watering tips, and how to keep your plants pest-free. Part 3. Trellising and harvesting for maximum yield. How to support your plants and when to pick the ripest tomatoes. If you missed any of these episodes, check out the full playlist in the description below. Easy and delicious tomato recipes. Now let's take our fresh, homegrown tomatoes and turn them into something delicious. Tomato and basil salad recipe. Serves 4. Ingredients: 500 grams ripe tomatoes, cherry tomatoes or regular sliced, 1/2 red onion, thinly sliced, 1 handful fresh basil leaves, 100 grams fresh mozzarella cheese, optional can use burrata or feta, 2 tablespoons extra virgin olive oil, 1 tablespoon balsamic vinegar or fresh lemon juice, 1/2 teaspoon sea salt, 1/4 teaspoon black pepper, 1/2 teaspoon honey, optional to balance acidity. Instructions. Prepare the ingredients. Wash and slice the tomatoes. Have cherry tomatoes if using. Thinly slice the red onion and soak in ice water for 5 minutes to reduce sharpness. Then drain. Wash basil leaves and keep them whole or tear them into smaller pieces. Make the dressing. In a small bowl, mix olive oil, balsamic vinegar, salt, pepper, and honey. Whisk until well combined. Arrange the tomatoes and red onion on a serving plate. Sprinkle fresh basil leaves and mozzarella cheese on top. Drizzle the dressing over the salad and toss gently. Let the salad sit for 5 minutes to absorb flavors. Serve fresh or pair with crispy toasted bread. For extra flavor, drizzle a few more drops of olive oil or a pinch of sea salt before serving. Would you like any variations or ingredient swaps? Simple tomato sauce recipe. Serves 4. Ingredients: 1 kilogram ripe tomatoes, about 6 to 7 large tomatoes, 3 cloves garlic, minced, 1 small onion, finely chopped, 2 tablespoons olive oil, 1 teaspoon salt, 1/2 teaspoon sugar to balance acidity, 1/2 teaspoon dried oregano or fresh basil, 1/2 teaspoon black pepper, 100 milliliters water, adjust for desired consistency. Instructions. Prepare the tomatoes. Score an X at the bottom of each tomato. Blanch them in boiling water for 30 seconds, then transfer to cold water. Peel and chop. Heat olive oil in a pan. Sauté onion and garlic until fragrant. Add chopped tomatoes, salt, sugar, pepper, and oregano. Cover and simmer on low heat for 20 to 25 minutes, stirring occasionally. Blend for a smoother texture, optional. 4. Finish and serve. Turn off the heat, sprinkle fresh basil if available. Serve with pasta, pizza, or meatballs. Tip: want a richer flavor? Simmer longer on low heat for a more concentrated sauce. Would you like any variations or additional seasonings? Oven roasted tomatoes recipe. Serves 4. Ingredients: 500 grams cherry tomatoes or regular tomatoes cut into small pieces, 3 tablespoons extra virgin olive oil, 3 cloves garlic, minced, 1 teaspoon sea salt, 1/2 teaspoon black pepper, 1/2 teaspoon sugar, optional to balance acidity, 1 teaspoon dried oregano or fresh basil, 1/2 teaspoon paprika, optional for a mild spice kick, 2 tablespoons grated Parmesan cheese, optional. Instructions: prepare the tomatoes. Wash and dry the tomatoes. If using large tomatoes, Cut them into bite-sized pieces. Preheat the oven to 190 degrees Celsius, 375 degrees Fahrenheit. Toss the tomatoes with olive oil, minced garlic, salt, pepper, sugar, oregano, and paprika in a bowl. Mix well to coat the tomatoes evenly. Spread the tomatoes in a single layer on a baking sheet lined with parchment paper. Roast for 25 to 30 minutes until the tomatoes are soft and slightly caramelized around the edges. Sprinkle with grated Parmesan cheese while still warm, optional. Serve with toasted bread, pasta, or as a topping for pizza. Tip: for extra depth of flavor, drizzle with balsamic vinegar before roasting. Would you like any modifications or additional ingredients? Cooking tips for maximum tomato flavor. If you want to get the most out of your fresh tomatoes, here are a few must-know cooking tips. Use fresh, ripe tomatoes. The more sun-ripened, the better the flavor. Slow cook sauces. This enhances the natural sweetness. Pair tomatoes with the right herbs. Basil, oregano, and garlic bring out the best flavors. Pro tip: for a smoky flavor, try grilling your tomatoes before using them in a dish. Best ways to store and preserve tomatoes. If you have an abundance of tomatoes, here's how you can store them for later. Counter storage. Best for fresh eating, avoid the fridge. Freezing. Chop and store in freezer bags for sauces. Canning and pickling, great for long-term storage. Sun-dried tomatoes, perfect for adding flavor to salads and pasta. Pro tip: store tomatoes stem side down to keep them fresh longer. And that's it for part 4. Now you know how to grow, harvest, and cook your own delicious tomatoes. Leave a comment if you have any good tips for us to learn from. And don't miss it. Hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next series. Thank you for your watching and see you in the next one.